खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. Enlighten yourself so much that on the day of judgment, God asks you, tell me what do you want to do? There is a 10-year-old boy in the small town of Hubli, India. He's a little fat, so he gets challenged by his friends if he can win a race. Now, this boy would always come last in a race, so even his teachers discouraged him to participate in a race. But the boy does that nevertheless. And he wins the race amongst, let's say, 10 of his classmates. Based upon this success, the boy gets that excited that he decides that he's going to win the race in his entire school. And so for the next 3 years, he gets up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, goes to the nearest park, runs for hours and hours together, and 3 years later, he actually wins the race in his entire school. Now, the boy is a smart cookie. He ends up doing postgraduate and operational research at St. Stephen's College, Delhi University, which is one of topmost colleges in India, and lands a job in sales and advertising. He gets married, has kids, and is having a fairly steady life. At the age of 30, he visits a school for blinds. While the school has got many problems, he notices that the kids are extremely happy and well connected, not inside the classroom, but playing out in the field and playing cricket. For anybody who doesn't know what cricket is in India, every single child in the country grows up watching cricket, hearing stories about cricket, talking about cricket, living, sleeping, eating, breathing, and potentially playing cricket. And so this guy decides to take this happiness on a much larger scale, rather on a global scale. He ends up starting a cricket council called WCC, which is World Blind Cricket Council, and runs it for 20 years. He gathers advertising support, does marketing, raises awareness, and the organization has been running quite successfully in the past 2 decades and has got 10 countries as their members. So now this guy moves from the world of sports to the world of television. He helps produce a 10-part series called Nazariya, which stands for Sight or Vision, starring some of the most eminent people in Bollywood industry, Naseeruddin Shah and Harsh Chaya. The series ran quite successfully. It's on YouTube, and if you get a chance, do watch it. He has been running a not-for-profit called SCORE Foundation for the past 25 years. And lately, he started learning music at Delhi School of Music, inspired by legendary Indian singer Kishore Kumar. This guy is quite cool if you ask yourself. He has done a lot of good things in life. He is well educated, he's a sports person, he is associated with cricket, he has got a good career in advertising, he is well known, he's a TEDx speaker, he has got a wife, 2 children, and a house to live. He has lived a fairly good life. What I didn't tell you in the beginning of this story is that this man, George Abraham, lost his sight when he was 10 months old because of meningitis. The point to note here is that despite of his visual impairment, George was able to do a lot of things that most of us individuals aspire to do. And hence it gets proven that disability is not the problem. The problem is the fact that disability is being seen as a problem. And as George says in the book Gifted, written by Sudha Menon and V.R. Feroz, I do not talk to people who are blind anymore. I talk to people who can see, because the problem lies with people who can see and yet don't understand the strength of people who cannot see. Disability and handicap are not the same things. In fact, one of the biggest problems us people have, the ones who are fortunate enough to be born with all 5 senses working, is the fact that we pity people who are disabled. The truth of the matter is that people who are born without any of these senses, they work hard on the other senses, and hence they become a lot more smarter and a lot more capable in doing things that some of us can't. Oftentimes, all what we have is pity and empathy for a person with disability. On this topic, I was speaking with a friend of mine who is a physicist and has some disability. He goes, imagine one day we discover that there is life on the other side of the world, and these aliens come down to Earth. Now, because they're aliens, it happens that they've got a lot many more senses than us. We've got 5, they've got, let's say, 20 senses. So when they look at us, these aliens, the only thing they will have for us is pity. They will think that, hey, look at all these people, they're all disabled. Why? Because they've got lesser number of senses than us. And so judging a person by the number of senses they have active is fundamentally incorrect. What is important, on the other hand, to realize that there are people with strengths and weaknesses, and there are tasks that they are most appropriate with. What we can do to help this situation is to find tasks, jobs, assignments, gigs, whatever you call that, in the way that the right kind of tasks are being allocated to the right kind of people. This is the basics of project management. There are certain companies, not-for-profits, social organizations, startups who are on the journey of trying to find the right kind of work for people with some form of disability. A very small list of such companies is listed in this post. I would appreciate if you can add to this list. This story is based upon a book called Gifted, Inspiring Stories of People with Disabilities, written by Sudha Menon and VR Feroz. A link to the book lies in this post. Feel free to go and buy it on Amazon and evangelize it. Some of the details covered in this story may not be accurate. It was a weekend project for me, but I do derive a lot of inspiration from talking about people who have done phenomenally well, and hence feel free to comment and evangelize this post as well. For George, here's a request. Because your idols are Kishore Kumar and Amitabh Bachchan, here is a song that I would want you to sing for all of us the right way. खुली नजर क्या खेल दिखेगा दुनिया का, बंद आँख से देख तमाशा दुनिया का।
खुली नजर क्या खेल दिखेगा दुनिया का, बंद आँख से देख तमाशा दुनिया का। अमीर तुम भी गाओ। खुली नजर क्या खेल दिखेगा दुनिया का, बंद आँख से देख तमाशा दुनिया का। इंसानों की बस्ती जो दुनिया कहलाए, आज के इंसानों की बस्ती जो दुनिया कहलाए। ना देखे सो चैन से बैठे, देखे सो पछताए। ऐसा है कुछ आज नजारा दुनिया का, बंद आँख से देख तमाशा दुनिया का। इसको देख रहा है, इसको पता जब चलता है। कोई न इसको देख रहा है, इसको पता जब चलता है। भाई मेरे तब जग वालों का असली रूप निकलता है। पल में बदल जाता है नक्शा दुनिया का, बंद आँख से देख तमाशा दुनिया का। खुली नजर क्या खेल दिखेगा दुनिया का, बंद आँख से देख तमाशा दुनिया का।